Our mission is clear. God has called us to be a gospel-centered, missional family of disciples making disciples. In everything, we want to know, love, and obey God by declaring and demonstrating the gospel wherever God has us. 1 year ago, we began the All In initiative. We started asking ourselves, what would it look like if we were all in with Jesus? What would it look like for us to be so gripped by Jesus' grace that it takes us to a deeper place of trust and surrender in the Lord? From the start, our primary goal has been 100% engagement, that every person at Redeemer would open themselves to the Lord to learn what it means to be all in with Jesus, not just with our generosity, but with our entire lives. The result was amazing to witness and humbling to experience. Family after family, person after person, stepped out in faith and committed to a 2-year journey of generosity. Together, we celebrated over $9 million in commitments to fund God's mission through Redeemer. We've heard powerful stories from people in our church sharing how God has deepened their faith and how they've experienced the joy of putting God first in every area of their lives. We've seen record Sunday morning attendance, celebrated kids born at Redeemer that are now being baptized years later, students coming to Christ and beginning to live on mission, people raised up and sent out to the nations, disciples being made, and new churches being planted. These stories are evidence of God's faithfulness and His work in each of us. But even with all that God has done, we know that He is not finished. Over the next year, we'll continue to grow deeper in our discipleship and we'll continue to widen our reach. Our vision is not just to see more people come to church. Our vision is to make disciples who make disciples, to reach 1% of our city with the gospel of Jesus. Over the next 4 weeks, we are diving into a new sermon series titled First, and we're going to explore what it means to give ourselves first to the Lord and experiencing His grace and seeing it extend to more and more people. If you've joined us since last year's commitment, I want to invite you on this journey. This is your invitation to experience the joy and spiritual growth that comes from trusting God in every area of your life. Now, many of you started this all-in journey last year. Possibly things have been more challenging than you originally thought they would be when you made this commitment. For you, committing to finish strong to your original commitment might be a huge step of faith. I want to encourage you to lean into God and do exactly what He's asking you to do. Ask Him to give you the faith to continue giving in a way that puts Christ first. There are others of us who are on this all-in journey, and it's not that our original commitment was easy, because it likely required a lot of faith at that time. Maybe God has provided in some ways that you weren't expecting, and if you're really honest, the commitment that you made really doesn't represent your first and best. I want to remind you that generosity is not just about money, it's about discipleship. Going all in is about a lifestyle of trusting God with everything we have, from our finances to our relationships to our time. God has more for us, more faith to grow, more generosity to experience, and more people to reach. As we enter the next year of this discipleship initiative, our prayer is that God will multiply its impact, that what God is accomplishing in us will continue to move through us to transform our church, our city, and the world. We have an opportunity to help even more people understand just how wide, just how long, how high, and how deep God's love is for them.